What's up, guys? It's been forever, and that's on me because I've been busy, but I didn't forget about you. I want to talk to you about the sky. Believe me when I say that. It's fun. Okay, so I wanted to bring you something for spooky season, but I'm squeamish and I don't actually like talking about murder that much. I can do it theoretically, but when it comes to the actual nitty gritty grainy shit, I'm a wimp. And I mean, actual or even like I hide during horror movies. It's not my jam. But what I thought that I would do for you, because I found this incidentally, I've been dabbling in old Hollywood lately. I wanted to show you what it looks like when you don't get murdered. And before I start, I mean, you can see with your eyes who I want to talk about. I want to remind you, I'm not here to be a moral arbiter. Never, ever. It's not my thing. Just like horror is not my thing. I'm not here to say that what someone did or did not do is moral or immoral. I'm not doing that. It's not my jam and never will be. So I'm not here to talk about the scandal surrounding Roman Polanski. I do want to talk to you about energy and what energy does. That's my intent here. But I will say, first and foremost, that when you look at this man's chart with your eyes, and if you have been following me at all, what should your eyes go to? Because when you first do a scan of a chart, you are looking for, the basics of where's the sun, where's the moon, and what's on an angle. And the angles are the bold lines here. So here's one, the ascendant, descendant, and then the MCIC. And oh, it's the moon and Pluto on the MC. So your chart is the rules of your life. It's how things will play out. It's repeating patterns. It's the rules that you personally live by. So for Roman Polanski, depth, emotional issues, issues surrounding women, children, because the moon and Mercury are the two signifiers of like younger people. Yes, I had to do that in my head of like, correct, right? I mean, arguably the sun a little bit, but really it's the moon and Mercury. So women's issues, women, young women, infancy, children, and depth issues related to them. Plus, they're both in Cancer. So maternity, home, family. Again, Cancer is a sign having to do with many things related to mothers, babies, nurturing, the nurturing you either did or didn't get. It's on the MC, so it's like what you're publicly known for. Do you see what I'm getting at here? And do you see that this can take different forms and arguably has throughout this man's life? You're with me, right? You see what I'm getting at, right? I'm making it pretty obvious, I think. And then, because you have to consider all of the energy of something rather than just some of it. You can't really break it up. It would be nice if you could like piecemeal and chunkify different aspects of your chart, but the moon and Pluto are sextiled by Jupiter and Venus in the 12th house. So that pulls even more issues having to do with women because Venus is the other female signifier. And then Jupiter just blows that up of like love, romance. But in the 12th house, it's the kind of like wanting to be lost in love and romance. And it's in Virgo. So it's an interesting blend of needing to bring love and romance and anything having to do with that type of thing into an exacting and earthifying concept. And so it's just like that's all that gets rolled into this. And then we have Mars here in the first house of being combative, but what kind of combative? It's in Libra. So so the need to fight for love or be very like knight in shining armor, or fighting with the people you love, or fighting for harmony. What else does Libra like? Aesthetics, good taste. Mars in Libra wants to be a gentleman. Okay, but then that is up against, because Cancer and Libra don't agree in their motivations. They're fighting. Plus, when you have harsh aspects between Mars and Pluto, you have the lifelong risk of encountering violence, perpetrating violence, especially with Mars in the first house. It's true. Or encountering it and having to defend yourself, or I mean, in this specific case, not being there when it happens, but it's a friction causing aspect. So you have to reconcile that Cancer planets want to be nurtured and loved, and like in this pre-birth type of cocoon thing, and then Libra wants to be like outwardly displaying signs of affection. Those things don't agree. So all of that, you have to consider all of that when you consider the setup of the moon, the setup of Pluto. If you're looking at any of these energies, you have to consider them kind of in one chunk. And then also, I mean, I can keep going forever, but I do want to point out that he's a Leo, right? And the sun is sextile Mars, so that these agree. So like the wanting to portray love and then wanting to fight for it here, those are together. Okay, I'm gonna stop with that because, as you know about me, I can talk forever, and I will talk forever because I love to talk about this stuff. But let's look at what it looks like when you don't get murdered. So I believe through my Wikipedia scanning that Roman Polanski was supposed to be present on the night of the Manson murders, and he wasn't. And so this is the timing of the actual murders themselves, which is not exactly relevant to Roman Polanski because he wasn't there. Although I will say, if you would like to look at Sharon Tate's chart, and I have, what messes with my head is, I mean, I can kind of see it, but I really can't. There's not something that's like, oh man, you are going to get murdered. And that's the weirdness of the sky and energy. You can never exactly tell what it's going to do. But I will say that she had a yod, that the two legs of the yod were transiting moon and transiting Mercury. She was a Cancer rising, so the moon was her chart ruler and Mercury was her 12th house ruler. And I want to say that the yod was to her sun, but I'm not 100% on that. And I have been seeing yods in messed up situations again and again and again and again for the last 6 months. So I'm implicating the yod in her murder, but what's messed up about it is that, again, if you follow what I do, that the moon and Mercury are like the fastest moving planets. So it was just like specifically at that time within hours was there an active yod. And I looked up the time to be precise because it's important. So like that just messes with my head. There's something about yods. I mean, I've got 2 active yods right now. I'm still here. I'm not doing this from beyond the grave. So they're not like an automatic death sentence. I just keep seeing yods in really messed up situations because I keep looking at messed up situations to see what has happened, and I find yods. So I'm not ready to draw a conclusion, but that if you want to go look, please do. You can use the information that I have up here for the Manson murders. Okay. So this is the other messed up thing. And I sat with this for a while when I saw it. I'm doing this, I think, 3 days after I looked up the energy, because I just wanted to process and make sure that I was happy enough with my conclusions. This man had the following transits. He had Saturn trine Neptune. He had Neptune sextile Venus. He had Neptune sextile Jupiter. He had Pluto sextile Pluto. He had Pluto sextile Moon, because those things that I just said, that Jupiter and Venus are conjunct, Moon and Pluto are conjunct. So to aspect one is to aspect the other. Chiron trine Mercury, and the mean North Node, I use mean nodes. The transits work better. Mean node is trining the Moon and Pluto. Mars trining Mercury. Those are good aspects. Like, but then if you look with your eyes, and this is important, you can see the location of Pluto is entering the 12th house. And I don't have this exact, because I don't want to flip back and forth and mess with you. But Pluto's entering the 12th house. The South Node, so if the North Node is trining something, then the South Node is sextiling it. Still a good aspect. But the South Node is in the 12th house. He's got Uranus in the 12th house. He's got Jupiter in the 12th house. Let's see, how do I want to say this? When you have the South Node in the 12th house, that means that your subconscious gets really loud. When you have Uranus in the 12th house, that means that you can have like sudden realizations or insights, but you have no idea where they come from and you can't necessarily connect them to anything. If you guys know people who are born in 1969, they had this kind of ridiculous energy, and these are people who are really talented because they've got a Neptune-Jupiter conjunction and Pluto conjunct the South Node. That's and in some cases, like kind of all of this together, that's a shit ton of energy, and it can be used very well or very poorly. But there are some geniuses who were born in 1969. Fascinating year. But he had all of this energy that makes people fascinating in his 12th house, which is the subconscious house. And no one's prepared for the like two major planets, Pluto and Uranus, transiting their 12th house. Jupiter tends to, when you see it in the 12th house, it can be a aspect of being saved from something, and I'm not exaggerating. So it's like you get like kind of divine intervention from time to time to keep you out of bad things. But I'm just going to say this again, largely good transits on the face of it. So if you were doing a reading for this guy, you would not be like, oh, your wife and unborn child are about to be horrifically murdered and it's going to change your life forever. You just wouldn't, no one should ever say that to you, but like, that's why I had to sit with this and be like, what the hell? Okay. So here's a second hint, is that Saturn was about to go into the 8th house. And when you have a heavy outer planet going into your 8th house, you're dealing with heavy emotional issues. And it really depends. It can be death. It can be intimacy issues. If you're not somebody who has had a lot of closeness of that type in your life, you have to learn how to do it when Saturn is going through your 8th house. But if you have, then it's wrestling with the lack of that sometimes, or a lot of the time. It really depends on where you are in life. And then the other hint the main hint that something was amiss, the transit I haven't touched on yet, is the fact that he had Neptune squaring his sun. If you look, you can see that Neptune is in Scorpio and the sun is in Leo. And those are, 24 degrees, 25 degrees. That's a square. And when you have Neptune doing things to your sun, it's erosion of your ego. Period. The end. And so I believe that the quote-unquote positive transit saved him from being in the place at the time. But the Neptune to the sun changed his personality and, made him have kind of like a reckoning. Because from Wikipedia, I got a quote from him that I will now read, and I tried to keep it below the screen so it wouldn't pop up in the video, but we'll see if it does. So his words: her murder changed his personality from a, quote, boundless, untroubled sea of expectations and optimism to one of ingrained pessimism, eternal dissatisfaction. That's what Neptune does to you. He just said it. And I think that if your wife and unborn child did get murdered by the Manson family, yeah, I think I would turn into someone who was full of ingrained pessimism and eternal dissatisfaction, right? And so, again, we're not here to be moral arbiters at all. But Neptune it has a dissolving effect. So when it hits your sun, regardless of who you are, it dissolves part of your ego. It dissolves part of you that you thought was untouchable, usually. And it's not supposed to be permanent, but if you get lost during a Neptune transit, and many people do, and there are so many ways to get lost during a Neptune transit, it's like the possibilities are unlimited there. Then yeah, you run the risk of never getting it back. And that's the danger of Neptune, is that the sense that it's eternal actually becomes eternal because you don't look for good things and you don't let good things in because you believe that good things are no longer possible. It happens all the time with Neptune. All the time. And so I'm not volunteering to be a Neptune rehabilitator because I would never be able to do anything else in my life if I started that shit. But I think that it's that combo of the good transits. I think they kept him alive, but the Neptune transit changed him. And if that's not spooky, what is? The fact that that can happen to you and effectively ruin your life. That's spooky. Like, murder is murder. I don't like looking directly at it, but this is spooky. And honestly, in doing this video, I didn't mean to do that at all. I didn't mean to suddenly reach that conclusion, but I think I'm gonna leave it. I meant for this to be fun and now it's not, so I'm sorry, but that's what life is sometimes, and that's awfully ambiguous. And in Scorpio season, which it is, I think it's kind of fair to throw that out there. So please don't get murdered, and I'll try not to as well. And I will be back with other stuff, possibly old Hollywood, though you guys don't actually like that stuff. It's just that I keep finding it, and there's a ton of moral ambiguity because we didn't used to cancel people as harshly as we do now, which again is not a moral statement. It's just a statement. But for real, happy Halloween to those of you who celebrate, and I will see you next time.